My dad came from a really abusive home. I remember him telling me a story about him hiding under the bed with his mom and his stepfather just screaming and yelling at each other, literally in a fist fight.
Just negative family environment, just not healthy.
It was a home marked by physical abuse, emotional abuse, and abuse of alcohol. They were drunk all the time. So about the time he enters high school, he was an athlete. I think that's how he took his mind off of things. He was a pole vaulter, and he was pole vaulting and broke his ankles. So he was home from school. He went to turn the hot water on. There was a natural gas leak in the house, and it just triggered a chain reaction of explosions. He jumps out of the house, and at that point, everything was okay. He was obviously hurt, but he wasn't on fire or anything. But his stepfather was home as well, and he didn't see his stepfather. So he went back into the house, and when he went back in is when he got burned really bad.
His health was terrible, and he endured such suffering that I don't even know how he was able to get up,
And the doctor comes in and just basically said, Doug, you're not going to live. And if there's anything you want to say, you better say it now. Had no faith to speak of in his home. He just remembers saying, God, if you're real, if you're out there and you want me to live, then let me live. He loved to draw and paint, and he was home listening to the radio. And for the first time in his life, the old country preacher got on there and said, God loves you. He wants to have a relationship with you. It's the first time he had ever heard anything like that. And it took him not very long at all to make a decision that he wanted to know more, wanted to follow Jesus, and that's what he chose to do. Well, the way his mind worked is, well, I know Jesus now. I can't see myself doing anything else with my life other than becoming a preacher. So he became a preacher.
After he was in the explosion and life changed on a dime, he still went on to get a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, was hours away from a doctorate, and had 4 children and a slow wife. So he did pretty good.
I would say one of the greatest characteristics of him, greatest attributes would be that he had zero judgment for others.
He treated every single person he ever met with respect. He didn't size you up by how you looked, what economic status you came from. He treated you like you would anybody else.
No one ever felt judged or condemned by Doug. They always felt welcome and loved.
If we would have watched him just roll over, I think that would have somehow played in the back of our minds that we don't have to persevere and push through. And just seeing someone work through just a devastated body just does something to you.
Doug was driven, and he had a very strong will.
Even though he had a number of health problems and he couldn't do what he wanted to do, he never missed a football or baseball game. I don't know how he made it happen. He may be limping, but I'd look over and I'd always see him there.
I would say besides him being just kind and generous and non-judgmental and respectful of every person, that he taught us through that little window of his life what it's like to love people unconditionally.